Hello out there, and how are you this Wednesday evening? I hope you're feeling as excited as I am. There is good news in the air, and today's package is packed with it. From the heartwarming news about the health of the president to hopefully the final resolution of the PDP crisis and measures by government to sort out pensions, salary arrears, and even money owed contractors. Also tonight, we will be at the National Assembly for what the lawmakers are doing to improve our lives. And then the big one, flooding. We have stories on what is trending about the flood situation. These and much more is what the News Extra team has put together for your information and education. So, as usual, sit back and let me be your navigator through the exciting bulletin. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Once again, you're welcome. Now we begin with the good news. Those who were wondering about my excited mood, this is it. And it is about time that Nigerians have something to cheer about. There is an indication that President Muhammadu Buhari will return to the country sooner or later from the United Kingdom, where he has been receiving medical attention. The acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, while interacting with State House Press Corps on his visit to the UK, says the president is fast recuperating.
See him, to check up on him, find out how he was doing. I had, of course, been speaking to him on the phone, and I thought it would be a good thing to go and see him and, generally check up on how he was doing, and also to brief him on developments back at home. So we had a very good time, had a very good conversation on wide-ranging issues, and he's in very good spirits. He's recuperating very quickly, and he's doing very well.
The acting president Tuesday afternoon made a short visit to the president in the United Kingdom and returned to the country in the early hours of Wednesday. Now, the political landscape in Nigeria took a dramatic turn this Wednesday morning when the Supreme Court upheld the Port Harcourt Convention of the People's Democratic Party, which dissolved the Senator Ali Modu Sharif's executive committee and constituted the Ahmed Makarfi Caretaker Committee. This was the verdict that came from the nation's apex court after more than a year of litigation. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo has the details.
The Supreme Court has again come to the rescue of the Nigerian polity. Before now, the narrow consideration had been whether the PDP constitution contains the provision for a creation of a caretaker committee. But now the Supreme Court has opened up this area and has explained further based on provisions of the PDP constitution. In a judgment by the panel of Supreme Court justices headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria but read by Justice Bode Rhodes-Vival, the Apex Court, doing a community reading of Section 47 and Section 33, subsection 5B and E of the PDP Constitution, said that the 21st of May Convention of the People's Democratic Party held in Port Harcourt was properly convened and had the powers to take the decisions it took, such as the disqualification of Senator Modu Sharif from contesting the chairmanship of the party and the constitution of a caretaker committee.
The Supreme Court is correct. There's nowhere else to go. What it means is that the party must go back, put its house in order, work as a team, and help the work of national growth.
Nigerians want PDP to be truly an opposition party. There is no democracy without opposition.
What a very opposition does to democracy is to put the government power on their feet, to see that they live up to expectation.
This Supreme Court judgment will set in motion quite a number of things, the re-strategizing and regrouping of political forces. But what Nigerians will be looking forward to ultimately is good governance, which indeed can be provided by the party in government and the opposition party. From the Supreme Court, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
PDP senators have expressed delight over the declaration of Ahmed Makarfi as the authentic chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayanu reports that following a point of order raised by Senator Emmanuel Bacha, Taraba State, the lawmaker called on PDP members in diaspora to come back home and rebuild the party.
It was jubilation all the way for the PDP senators as they received news of the verdict.
The giant is awake. The development today is an indication that Nigeria is going to move forward.
Later, the PDP caucus addressed Senate press corps, where they described the Supreme Court judgment as a no victor, no vanquish verdict.
As we come together, I believe we must all pursue, we must all overtake, and must all recover. Briefly let Nigerians know, and all PDP faithfuls, and all lovers of democracy across the nation, that a monumental event has happened today in our dear country.
All of us to celebrate this judgment. It is not victory for PDP, it is victory for democracy.
Leadership crisis within the party started on May 21st, 2016, after some PDP governors sacked Modu Sharif as its national chairman following its botched convention in Port Harcourt. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
And for those following political developments in Nigeria, they will remember that the leadership crisis of the PDP has come a long way, leaving a great lesson for all political parties, judicial process and democratic practice. It is in this respect that a political correspondent, Abdullahi Garba Birnin Kudu, traced back the 2 years of leadership tussle that many believed has come to an end.
It all started when the PDP lost the 2015 general elections, which resulted in confusion in its leadership as well. The invitation of Senator Ali Modu Sharif to lead the party by some governors did not last long, as planned to hold a national convention was greeted with court injunctions. Some organs of the party defied Sharif's move and conducted the convention in Port Harcourt, which gave birth to the Ahmad Makarfi Caretaker Committee. Sharif, however, remained resolute, challenging their action at the Court of Appeal, whose judgment favored his leadership. This worsened the crisis, factionalizing the party, despite several attempts by founding fathers and leaders to wade in. As a final arbiter, the Supreme Court has now decided on the matter. Party leaders who thronged PDP Secretariat to celebrate the development say there is no victor, no vanquish in the judgment.
In this cabinet, we should be prepared and willing to reconcile with anybody. Anybody that can meet this criteria, we should be willing and open to reconciliation with
all other people on the other side, we are not going to fight them.
I want to thank Nigerians, especially the members of the PDP, for their support, for their understanding, even when this crisis lingered.
And we pray that all members should be able to come together and unite and get ourselves reconciled.
What next for the party?
Eh?
What next for the party?
Working hard to take over power.
As at now, Senator Sharif Group says it is studying the new development before its next line of action, while the Makarfi leadership has taken over the National Secretariat in line with the Supreme Court judgment, promising to work with like-minded parties ahead of 2019 general elections.
As the celebration continues at the PDP National Secretariat, party members believe the judgment is a victory for all. As they say, having a strong opposition political party is good for democracy. From the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Birnin, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdullahi. I'm now being joined in the studio by Al-Hajj Ahmed Mohammed Makarfi, the chairman, PDP National Caretaker Committee. We're glad to have you in the studio.
A pleasure.
Maybe congratulations is in place.
Thank you.
Yeah. For a political party to be in crisis for almost 2 years, I think it's definitely not an easy experience. So how has it been for the PDP?
Well, there have been highs and lows. When the Port Harcourt Federal High Court gave judgment in our favor, we operated relatively smoothly. Of course, not at the optimum we would have wanted to operate. And when the Court of Appeal gave judgment, we gave space to Senator Ali Modu Sharif based on the provisions of the law to operate equally. I am not in a position to say how he operated, But we continued with our activities because the appeal was pending at the Supreme Court level. Now, politicking, especially when you're in opposition, is not easy. It has not been easy. Nigerians expected us to have performed much better as an opposition party, but this division has kind of limited our capacity and ability to play that role. And of course, it's a sad situation when members of the same family, you see them, disagreeing to that extent of going to court, several courts spending this length of time in litigations. It was not what one would have chosen, but we believe in destiny. God destined that we go through this process so that we'll be better developed, develop more resistance, perseverance, that will enable us to play the role of our opposition party effectively in Nigeria.
Okay, now that the Supreme Court has ruled in your committee's favor, what are your plans? Are you to carry on the leadership till 2019?
No, not at all, not at all. We actually started the process of consultation to hold a convention that will elect national officers, that will see the party, to 2019 election. Stay is very, very temporal. If we can conclude our work within few weeks, so be it. We are not on this position to stay put for whatever reason, other than to reform the party, organize the party, revamp the party, and conduct a successful convention that will elect national officers to carry on.
So now what will be the fate of Senator Ali Modu Sharif and his supporters in the PDP?
A number of them have already called me or sent me text messages congratulating me, and we talk pleasantly. And I have not had any party member or leader that is sounding vindictive. PDP is large enough, not just for them, for other members that are not in PDP to come and join hands with us. And we are open to reconciliation, but this reconciliation must be on the basis of equity, fairness, and justice. Reconciliation to us should not be interpreted to mean, imposing somebody on others, that will find a reconciliation. But accommodation is what is necessary, and we're willing to do that.
That's indeed a very, very healthy development for politics in Nigeria.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I've been speaking with the National Chairman Caretaker Committee of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Ahmed Mohamed Makarfi. Thank you very much once again. In other news of the day, the Federal Executive Council has approved a proposed process to validate and pay inherited federal government contractors and employees' liabilities. The validation process and promissory note and debt program is to resolve decades of outstanding federal government obligations to contractors, state governments and employees. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi reports on the Council's obligations at the meeting in Abuja.
Briefing the press, Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun says a discounted total of 2.7 trillion naira of obligations was provisionally confirmed by a committee set up by the acting president in March this year to look into the liabilities. This consists of 740 billion naira of outstanding pensions and promotional salary arrears and 1.93 trillion of other obligations, including dues to federal government contractors and suppliers.
We've compiled everything, and that's what was brought to the Federal Executive Council today. What's going to happen with the salary arrears and promotional arrears is that we're going to pay over a 3-year period because the amount of money is quite significant, so we need to take it over 3 years. That includes military pension board, monies owed to Telecom, monies owed to police pensioners under PATAD, promotional arrears, and I think 28 days. There's an allowance that is paid for 28 days for civil servants. And the reason is that we're trying to move the economy forward. We've plugged a lot of the loopholes, and we're saying to the civil servants, you've got to live on your salary. If you say that, then you have to pay them what, you know, you're legally obliged to pay them. Because
the Minister of Federal Capital Territory also got approval for the final design of a sewage system and approval for Kabusa Road project.
And it all goes to buttress the point I earlier made regarding the need for us to continue with very important infrastructure projects in the city.
The Federal Executive Council approved the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation 2017-2020 strategy and implementation plan for the transformation of the Federal Civil Service.
Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun said most of these obligations were genuinely approved for ministries, departments and agencies, but were not backed up with cash. This present administration, she said, cannot wait to see this happening anymore, and has therefore put in place a mechanism that will put an end to it. From the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazau, has visited Cross River State in connection with the maltreatment of Nigerians in Bakassi Peninsula by the Cameroonian gendarmes. The minister, while in Calabar, held talks with the state government for its swift intervention in clashes around the country. Uduak Etim has the details.
While applauding President Buhari and Acting President Yemi Osinbajo for their empathy, commitment and love for the states, Governor Ayade prayed for the president's quick recovery. The governor, who said the people of Cross River States are known for peaceful coexistence, wondered why Wanihem and Wanikade, who have lived together for years, have same ethnicity, history and heritage, will allow chaos to divide them. He appealed to the minister to also use his visit to touch the lives of Bakassi returnees recently sacked by the Cameroonian authorities.
The people have suffered massive neglect. And so I would like you to look at the sociological and anthropological perspective of your visit with a view to providing an immediate solution that can at least ease their immediate pain.
The minister informed that he was in Cross River State with his team as a federal government delegation on a fact-finding mission in respect of the recent clash between the two communities in Yala local government area.
The federal government sees it necessary to partner and support the government of people of Cross River State so that not only to contain the situation which from the briefings we've had, even before we came here, the state government has made a lot of efforts to do that.
The federal government has pledged its collaboration with the Cross River State government to check issues that could threaten the security of lives and property. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
The Senate has given another ultimatum to government agencies to present their appropriation reports in line with the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayanu reports that this is the third time the highest legislative body is giving such ultimatum.
Senate leader Ahmed Lawal, through a point of order, reminded government agencies of the need to present their appropriation report as and when due.
Today is the 12th of July, midway into the year. We are yet to officially receive the budget proposals for the agencies listed in this schedule.
Some senators noted that some agencies have continued to execute projects without presenting their appropriation reports to the National Assembly.
Many of these parastatals and agencies does not have any board or existing board to approve these budgets.
Some of the budgets were already submitted and are before the committees.
In another motion, Senator Jibrin Barau, Kano North, stressed the need for an investigative audit in respect to contracts that were awarded and paid for in the past by TED Fund but are yet to be executed.
Some of the contractors who are yet to be identified allegedly collected the project monies and reportedly walked away without executing the contracts.
In his motion, Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai, Oyo North, called on the federal government to intervene in the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology crisis.
Urge the federal government to find immediate solution to the problem by injecting the fund presently needed for the school to reopen immediately.
The two governments, that is Oyo and Osun state governments, have failed the student population of Lautech.
In the meantime, Senator-elect in the just concluded Osun West by-election, Ademola Adeleke, has been sworn in by the Senate President. He replaced his late brother Ishiaka Adeleke, who died on the 23rd of April this year. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
And still remaining with the National Assembly, how would you feel if you have been invited to a public hearing at the National Assembly to give your view on a particular matter, and because of this you later discover that you have been suspended? Well, this is the situation the Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, finds himself. His experience informed a motion moved to protect persons who testify at the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye now reports.
About 2 weeks ago, the House Committee on Healthcare Services held a public hearing with various agencies in attendance. Among these was the Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, who made submissions on his perception of the rot in the scheme. Now, subsequently, he was suspended by the Minister of Health, and this led to the issue being brought before the floor as a matter of urgent public importance by Representative Chike Okafor of Imo State.
He maintained that there is great corruption in the scheme, adding that NHIS ICT department was used by HMOs to pass up to 23,000 enrollees.
I was expecting that at the end of that public hearing, we are going to have some discussions and see how best we can reduce corruption.
The Minister of Health will have his day before the House when he appears to explain his reasons why the Executive Secretary of the NHIS was suspended.
A bill for an act to provide a legal framework for code of ethics for medical practitioners in Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Ali Issa from Gombe State, seeks to stop medical doctors in full public service engaging in private practice.
At the moment, the public is not getting the best medical attention like the practice in Nigeria. Other professionals such as law
is in tandem with the provision of the Constitution that disallows public officers to engage in private business.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Special Ad Hoc Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution as amended has held. 3 bills were considered, including a bill for an act to alter the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to reflect proposals initiated by the judiciary. A bill to provide for uniform mandatory retirement age of 70 years for all judicial officers.
The process of amending the Constitution by the 8th House of Representatives is in phases and piecemeal.
The matter will be considered in conjunction with the Senate. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adeguloye, NTA News.
Now we're turning to issues of fight against corruption. In 1984, President Muhammadu Buhari, as the then head of state, fought vices to a standstill, a trademark he maintains with no compromise on issues of corruption. President Buhari's dogged fight against corruption received continental endorsement when the African Union invited him to lead the crusade. Experts on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, say the battle on corruption can be won through collective support. Talatu Ezirike has more on that.
Corruption, a global phenomenon, has been a major setback for advancement in the African continent.
Corruption was identified an impediment to the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, on the continent.
A lot of corruption going on at all levels.
A trend the African Union says must stop and has endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari to champion the fight against corruption in the continent. These event watchers believe will yield the desired results to guarantee overall growth.
The political elite should understand
that their survival, their existence as a class is dependent on the existence of a nation. There must be an anti-corruption ideology to which we should subscribe to. Subscribing it as a party, subscribing it as an institution, subscribing it as a state. This is what we need.
The large percentage of our population is young, and we need them to be looking up to somebody that represents something so that they can aspire to be like that person. You have a leader who is actually walking the talk and living the talk.
For others, the need for holistic approach, especially to strengthen institutional framework to tackle corruption.
We all say corruption is bad, yet when we say a corrupt person, we want to embrace him. So this contradiction, there is need for us to address.
Everybody is being very careful. I learned some pastor says, if you see anybody who is corrupt in your church, blow the whistle. Even in the mosques, blow the whistle, so that all of us will fight corruption together.
We are working towards having the united Africa that we have always dreamt of.
It is strongly held that the fight against corruption will be won in the African continent for advancement. Analysts sound a note of warning that the bulldog can bite. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
Thank you, Talatu. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Federal government moves to alleviate the suffering of flood victims in 16 states of the Federation. The details of these are more when we return after the break. Join.
Just hold on and give the address to the driver. I beg, hold on.
Hello? Madam, can not finish show?
The party goes soon start, so... Chrissy, help me go and buy recharge card. Oh yeah, everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go! Okay. Hello, Madam Celebrant.
With Glow Sharp e-top-up, you get 8 times the value of your recharge. Plus, you continue to enjoy all the airtime and data benefits on your plan.
Where the credit now?
Now sharp e-top-up. I do enter your phone straight.
Blood of Zachariah. Well, you don't know say e-top-up, no, they give all the plan benefits like bonus airtime and data.
Now, e-top-up, they give you all the better plan benefits, plus more.
Christy. Don't worry, I will put smart in on top of your money later.
I be the wonder when that you feel when we do money sharp like e-top-up.
Very good. You like money.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Lokacin da farko Boko Haram ya zo ya yi mana barna, ya kware mu mun bar garinmu. Shi kuma gwamnati ya dau mataki, yanzu ya kawo mana security da ya gina mana gidaje. Gwamnatin kashin Shatima.
What a time to be alive. Just some years ago, many of the businesses and industries that are worth billions today did not even exist. Now, you could be in a village and become the next big thing worldwide. All you need is an idea, patience, persistence, and good internet access. So go on, get the other 3, because we've got you covered on internet access with super fast data plans, no matter who you are or where you are. Maybe you're the one the world is waiting for to take us to our next level of success. There's only one way to find out, and we have full confidence that you will find the way. Why are we so sure? Let's just say that we have blind faith in your future.
Good governance is when the life of the governed changes for the better. When there is improvement in healthcare, in education, transportation, economic empowerment, and the security of life and property. When the people have an array of infrastructure, services, and institutions that help them realize their potentials. Good governance is ingenious, honest, interdependent, and result-driven. Good governance is what Ibrahim Gaidam has made true in Yobe State through his pragmatic and persistent leadership. It is what is helping Yobe move forward despite years of being held back by Boko Haram terrorism. Ibrahim Gaidam, governance humanized. Yobe, truly the pride of the Sahel.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Standard, we sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office where near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
The Senate Committee on Customs, Excise and Tariff will carry out a holistic investigation on the operation of Comprehensive Import Supervision Scheme and identify those behind the smuggling of rice and other items into Nigeria with the view of bringing them to book. The committee hereby requests memoranda from the following stakeholders: Federal Minister of Finance, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, amongst others. All memoranda should be submitted in 20 hard copies and 1 soft copy to the committee secretariat, room 1.1C, White House, National Assembly Complex, Abuja, on or before Wednesday, July 12, 2017. For further inquiries, please contact. The public hearing is slated for Monday, July 17, 2017 at the conference room 231, National Assembly Complex, Abuja by 10 a.m. prompt. Senator Hope O. Uzodinma, Chairman, Announcer.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
We're glad to have you join us again on NTA News Extra tonight. Now, the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, has approved the release of 1.6 billion naira as the immediate intervention for the victims of flood in 16 states of the country. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, announced this while briefing newsmen after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the acting president. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has that report.
The 16 states which were ravaged by the flood waters include Ekiti, Osun, Akwa Ibom, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Abia. Others are Oyo, Lagos, Plateau, Sokoto, Edo, and Bayelsa. The 1.6 billion naira intervention fund approved by the acting president, Mr. Adesina, said is to provide relief for only the affected people and communities.
The money is going to be taken from the federal government ecology account at the Central Bank of Nigeria. And the Minister of Finance is to release the funds direct to NEMA, which is National Emergency Management agency.
Mr. Adeshina said acting President Emi Oshibajo also approved that the Presidential Committee on Flood Relief and Rehabilitation should give additional support to the affected states. As predicted by Nigerian Meteorological Agency, there will be resurgence of floods in many parts of the country in 2017 with devastating consequences on the people. Lagos, Niger, and Akwa Ibom states were the latest hit by the calamity. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Well, I have always said that that fella, the late Afrobeat maestro, knew what he was saying when he sang his hit song, Water No Get Enemy. Manage water well and you will enjoy it. Take it for granted and you will see the other side of it, as some parts of the country are experiencing now. I'm talking about flooding, which is raging all over the place now. Now, well, to tackle this, experts are soliciting an institutional framework by government to enforce environmental laws that will mitigate the effect of flooding. Salihu Abdullahi has the details of that report.
No doubt, Nigerians are beginning to feel the impact of the 2017 predictions by Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, which stated that 26 states across the Federation and 96 local government areas are expected to experience high flood. Already, there have been reported cases of flooding in some states like Lagos, Niger, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Delta, Anambra, Kano, among others, claiming lives and property. These development discussions attribute to the way people handle their environment.
There are two ways to it. Even if the laws are there, if they are not enforced, nobody will obey. It is convenient to avoid compliance. It is very convenient. Ordinary road safety will force you to use seat belt when you know it is going to kill you. Why must you be forced to use seat belt? So if government makes laws, they cannot enforce their law, nobody will be willing to cooperate. There must be synergy between the federal, among the federal, state, and local government in physical development planning.
We have to increase our awareness campaign, and for the states, they have also the responsibility to ask their citizens to open up their drainages, because that is the key. Because if you block drainages, definitely water will find its own level.
With a spotlight on the nation's commercial city, Lagos, lack of proper management and institutional collaboration have been identified as responsible for perennial flood in the city, whose 40% land is occupied by water.
But all these wetlands are being allocated. They are not being developed without corresponding increase in the depth of the lagoon. But that problem of land can be overcome in several ways. First, you discourage horizontal spread. You encourage vertical spread. Again, you balance the use of land.
As the rains continue, political will and proper planning, the guest emphasized, will guarantee safety and reduce unforeseen damage that might occur due to flood. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Well, in the meantime, the federal government is asking states and local governments across the federation to take as a matter of priority the enforcement of environmental laws and town planning guidelines with a view to checking uncontrolled physical development activities. Musbaud and Wahab reports that this is coming on the heels of the devastating flooding being experienced across the country.
Thousands of Nigerians will not forget the past week in a hurry. Not because of a torrential downpour and thunderstorms, but a flood that followed the rains. Many swam to survival. More than a dozen others did not. They lost their lives, with more people left without shelters as homes and cars were submerged underwater. The floods did not spare any area. With the season just setting in, more rains are expected and people in flood-prone areas fear the worst as the flood alert resonates.
Summary of the alert is that approximately 30 states and 100 LGAs are categorized as high flood risk areas and therefore could expect flooding.
coupled with the sea rise, possible long duration of downpour occasioned by late start of rain, poor drainage systems, inadequate urban planning and reclamation of wetlands are said to be compounding the situation.
Flash floods, that is overflow due to sustained rainfall in the urban cities or semi-urban areas, can be reduced with effective and adequate drainage systems. People must not use this facility as refuse bins, which will block and render the facility useless.
Warnings such as these are not new, and so, as government plans to construct more dams as buffer and convert excess water to advantage through agriculture, the minister wants Nigerians to jettison wrong attitude of not responding positively to alerts and warnings from government agencies. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, NC News.
Well, there is no gainsaying the fact that flooding is among the major environmental challenges affecting agricultural activities in most societies. In Nigeria, on an annual basis, tons of crops and livestock are lost to flooding, thereby threatening food security. In this next report, Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at strategies being adopted by farmers to protect their crops from flooding.
Nigeria enjoys warm climate with relatively high temperature all year round, accompanied with dry and rainy season. This provides conducive atmosphere suitable for planting of different types of crops in any part of the country. Rainy season is the peak of agricultural activities, despite the fact that rain pattern remains unpredictable. But flooding during the rainy season remains a major challenge affecting the farmers' activities. Since the flooding of 2012, which was described as the worst in recent times, farmers with the support of the federal government and other international agencies have developed methods to protect farms against flooding. For instance, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has developed a mobile phone application to alert farmers on rain pattern.
What this app does is to provide that early warning opportunity to be able to take necessary remedial measures to ensure that lives are protected, agricultural production is guaranteed.
Any activity we carry in the farm.
This farmer in Wushishi local government area of Niger State says the application introduced to the community has helped farmers in planning their cropping season.
Our plan is just to harvest them before something August or before rain will start in March.
That smart weather also assists our processors groups to know when to parboil, because it will tell you, oh, there will be sun today.
Yes, the application is helping the farmers plan their farming activities, but agriculturists and environmentalists insisted that farmers must avoid planting in flood-prone areas during the rainy season. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Well, necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. This next story shows us that there is no truer saying than this. The advocacy for Nigerians to produce what they consume and consume what they produce has been ongoing for some time. Now, this is more so because of the need to diversify the economy and the less on imports. Comfort Amodu, an ardent advocate of produce what you consume and consume what you produce, examines how other Nigerians are keying into the clarion call.
Over the years, Nigerians have come to develop an insatiable taste for foreign products and services. There have been campaigns from different quarters for Nigerians to begin to patronize locally made goods in order to boost the Nigerian economy and in turn empower the people. Ondofa, a fiscally challenged man, popularly called Big Dreams, has indeed set out to realize the dream of not only being self-reliant, but contributing positively to the economy through his shoemaking business.
The challenge is the machines, Sometimes for me to meet up with the work is the challenge, that's what I'm having.
Because of the passion Ondofa has put into his business, he has given premium to quality, which has in turn attracted high patronage not only from ordinary Nigerians, but notable personalities. Pastor Abel Uloko attests to this.
If you wear Ondofa made in Benue and you put a good attitude on it, anywhere in the world, nobody will look down on you.
Ondofa is not alone in this endeavor. Edacha Emmanuel and Doyum Hanyo are also Nigerians who have answered the clarion call of employing their skills to produce made in Nigerian goods.
The difference between what I do and what they buy from maybe outside the country or anywhere is just the finishing touches, which is due to the machine available to us.
If you are buying products that are made within the country, one, you are adding to the economy, you are creating jobs for your people.
Though there are many other young men and women who are making various efforts to venture into production of local goods and services, challenges like lack of adequate capital, equipment and multiple taxation seem to be major impediments.
Encourage local producers of the raw materials that are used in the production of these goods. So in the final analysis, it will contribute significantly to the gross domestic product of Nigeria.
Many people say if Nigerians can actually take their eyes off foreign products and produce Nigerian goods, it will conserve the nation's foreign reserve and strengthen the naira.
Now I realize that a lot of people go for Nigerian products because when you get them, you get what you want here in Nigeria.
While efforts are ongoing to create an enabling environment for Nigerians to produce what they consume and consume what they produce, observers are of the opinion that the ability to achieve this goal will depend on a positive change of attitude, which begins with you and I. In Makudi, Comfort Amadou, NTA News.
Thank you, Comfort. Now, at this time of our national life, when diversification is being encouraged to grow the economy, one area that readily comes to mind is commercialization of research findings. But the problem with this is that without intellectual property protection, also known as patenting, a lot of people will reap where they did not sow. It is to achieve this protection that the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, presented certificates of patenting to some government agencies and individuals' research findings. Our scientist in the House, Kirian Umayo, reports that the Nigerian Air Force is among agencies that patented their technological innovations. His report.
Several research findings are known to be lying on the shelves of many laboratories in universities, research institutes, and technology-based agencies and parastatals. Director General of NOTAP, Dr. Dan Azumi Ibrahim, at the certificate presentation ceremony, advised innovators and researchers in the country to take advantage of patenting to secure their intellectual property as well as commercialization of such products.
Technologies are products of research and development effort, are products of skills, are products of knowledge. And we have fantastic knowledge infrastructure in the country. We have 153 universities. We have quite a number of polytechnics, research establishments, and the armed forces are also doing very well in that, particularly the Nigerian Air Force. I must commend them.
In Africa, we have about 4 intellectual property offices that are the biggest. Nigeria is one. And if in my office we continue to have only 50 patent applications in a year, I don't think it reflects the wealth of intellectual knowledge this country has.
Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Bukar, who received the patent certificate on behalf of the Nigerian Air Force, assured the Director General of NOTAP that the Air Force has the necessary skills to develop more complex technologies required for the advancement of its technical operations. The event attracted young innovators of Nigeria who are into local content software development.
Local content is one of our primary objectives. You see, all of our solutions have local, they are built by local people from scratch to finish. And if you also visit our labs, you see that most things we do is that we look at what has already been done, we reinvent the wheel. So what we do is that it's 100% local.
In the process of commercialization, patenting is very important and essential, not only to protect the intellectual property, but to create enabling environment that could facilitate the adoption and commercialization of such products by the private sector. In Abuja, Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Thank you, Kirian. And taking you back to our earlier story on the Minister of Interior, his visit to Cross River State, we inadvertently referred to the Interior Minister as Lieutenant Colonel instead of Lieutenant General. We sincerely apologize for that mishap. Up ahead, some business news and a bit on digitization. That's the outlook after the commercial break. Just stay with us.
Let's pepper them. So tell somebody to tell everybody to come join Timaya, baby. I did bring too much sauce. No mega music talk. It's gonna be a mad over your 10. Yo, where you know we are showstoppers.
I am your host for the biggest show ever.
If you miss the store, you're gonna miss everything. So join me, guys. Let's turn up.
We'll be storming across Nigeria. I won't be anywhere else.
Everyone who is anyone is going to be there. All Nigeria's A-list musicians.
One big stage.
Live and direct.
Glow Mega Music Tour all over Nigeria.
So watch out because we dey come.
Let's go!
It's the Glow Mega Music Tour with your favorite anchors and special guest stars. It's gonna be untamed. Text music and your preferred location to 207. Use 2,000 Naira Glow airtime in 1 month to stand in line for your free ticket. So what are you waiting for? The Glow Mega Music Tour.
Glow Unlimited. Welcome to the new world of superb taste, now here in Nigeria.
Everyone, try it and enjoy the delicious goodness.
We are bringing our new noodles to every corner of the country. That's right, it tastes great. It tastes fantastic. It's time for a new noodle.
Nigeria, you want the truly delicious taste? Come and get it! Be supreme, Nigeria.
I've been looking at you from across the way, and I think about you almost every day. Now I think that I must have a crush on you. I hope that you feel it too.
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of Knorr that brings people together.
Here's your order.
I think this is not exactly what we ordered. I ordered a Coca-Cola Zero.
No problem. I can give you 0 calories, 0 sugar, and a great Coca-Cola taste. Here's the Coca-Cola Zero you ordered.
Do it again.
You still look like you need a Coca-Cola. Why don't you sneak inside your bag?
Forever you feel, together be real, together
Enjoy.
Today, Ariel will show you how to save more in these tough times.
Wife's powder. It's pretty good and money's tight. But Ariel gives better cleaning with less powder.
Impossible.
Come with me.
Spaghetti sauce, chocolate drink.
For these tough stains, I'll need 1, 2, and just 1 handful of Ariel. New Ariel gives better stain removal with less powder.
That's real savings. Ariel removes tough stains better in 1 wash.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Chewing gum neutralizes bad odor. It doesn't just disguise them, it gives you real minty breath.
Hey, bro, what's up, man?
Wait. Sure, son, I want the bicycle.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We're glad to have you back with us on NTA News Extra tonight. Now we're talking business. Financial experts have identified lack of financial record keeping and regular auditing as the bane to the fight against corruption in the country. In the meantime, the Debt Management Office DMO has budgeted the sum of $483 million for the servicing of the nation's foreign debt profile. These are more on our business news segment with Ademola Adeoye.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Business News segment. I am Ademola Adeoye. In a bid to curb illegal financial flows towards ensuring accountability and sustainable economic growth in the country, financial experts say proper financial monitoring and auditing is sacrosanct.
Auditors are part of the gatekeeping system of our economy, of our governance. We believe in auditing philosophy that collusion based on fraud may never be detected. That is why we say that it could be said they become chronic, and therefore it's a threat not just to a company, not just to the community. It's dangerously a threat to civilization, to our civilization.
Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun says the country must not borrow to fund 2017 budget. The minister's statement is a pointer that the country might shelve its planned $2 billion loan from the World Bank, as well as the $1.5 billion additional loan from the international debt market due to the rise in debt profile. The Debt Management Office says it plans to use $483.4 million to service the nation's foreign debts over a period of 10 years. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria Gas Users Group has advocated a downward review in gas pricing to below $3 under the revised gas policy, as well as provide preference for domestic consumers in a bid to revive moribund factories and increase capacity utilization. Let's now take a quick look at transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
At the close of Wednesday's equities, volume of shares traded finished at 270.85 billion shares, valued at 2.769 billion naira, which swapped hands at 3,940 deals. Market capitalization stood at 11.367 trillion naira, while the all-share index closed at 82,981.63 points. 7up led the gainers table with 7 naira 23 kobo to close at 82 naira per share, closely followed by Seplat with 5 naira gain to close at 465 naira. Corn oil with 1 naira 65 kobo loss led the losers table to close at 33 naira 21 kobo per share, followed by UPL, which depreciated by 31 kobo to close at 3 naira 23 kobo per share.
And stock market report concludes business news segment. News Extra continues shortly. Stay with us.
Thank you, Ademola. Total Exploration and Production Nigeria Limited is to commit more than 250 million naira for the construction of 2 maternal referral centers in Borno State. The Managing Director and Chief Executive, Total Exploration and Production Limited, Nicholas Terez, said this at an interface with the Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, in Abuja. Lydia Sampson was there in a report.
That handshake seals the mutually beneficial relationship between Total Exploration and Production Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of Total, a multinational energy company operating in more than 130 countries, and the government and people of Borno State. Total Exploration and Production has been given back to the society as part of its corporate social responsibility. Borno State is the latest to benefit, as the managing director of the company, Nicholas Terez, led management members to meet Governor Kashim Shettima to support the rebuilding of the state ravaged by insurgency.
So among the 2 areas underlined by His Excellency, we've selected health. And that's why we've decided to support the construction of 4 maternal health centers, 2 of them in Borno State. And I think it's a modest contribution given the situation, but we are very happy to do it.
Governor Kashim Shettima welcomed the Total support, which he says will go a long way in meeting the $5.5 billion estimated by the World Bank Recovery and Peace Building Assessment Report for Borno State.
Total is the first major player in the oil industry to intervene in our state, and I believe we are eternally indebted to them and grateful for their kind intervention.
Governor Shettima said 201 healthcare facilities were destroyed across the state by the insurgents. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Well, I'm sure you will agree with me that in the business world, the customer is always king. This assertion is accepted worldwide, but in the Nigerian telecommunications sector, the customer can be treated as the servant. And I'm sure to get a witness if I ask. Now, the good news is that the Telecoms Police, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, says it is working towards improving consumer satisfaction. This much, Joseph Johnson gathered from the 80th edition of the Telecom Consumer Parliament, organized by the NCC in Abuja. Joseph, please tell us more.
Telecom sector has three main drivers: the regulator, the service providers, plus equipment manufacturers and vendors, and the consumers. To achieve effectiveness in this sector, these key drivers must mix and match in shared values, responsibilities and risks. But oftentimes, the consumers are relegated to the background, regardless of their importance in the chain. That is what this forum seeks to remedy, that is aptly captured in the theme, which is celebrating the telecoms consumer.
I intend to be the consumer czar of the industry, looking out for and protecting the interests of the consumer always, without compromising the interests of other stakeholders in the industry.
Representatives of service providers had the opportunity to interact and crisscross ideas towards addressing issues relating to unsolicited messages, poor data and voice services, among others.
For our consumers, be rest assured, it never stops. We're always working, we're always looking to solve whatever issues they have.
With the introduction of toll-free line and other remedial initiatives by the NCC, the Telecoms Consumer Parliament further indicates that the NCC is a fair player as a regulator, using the knife on the yam equally to ensure satisfaction across the drivers of the sector. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
The newly inaugurated board of the Bank of Industry, BOI, has been tasked to support federal government economic recovery plan. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, says the vision to revive the nation's industries must be pursued with all diligence. Emmanuel Ayimiro has the details.
In recent times, the federal government is embarking on new plans to grow small and medium-scale enterprises as it plans to inject 1 trillion naira into the economy. The fund is to be invested in infrastructural development that will attract local and foreign investors.
One of the commitments that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari made is to make sure that we strengthen corporate governance and make sure we have good governance practices as part of his commitment to dealing with issues of both corruption and making sure that Nigeria is a better place to do business.
The board chairman, Bank of Industry, Ali Diko, says the board would ensure diversification, modernization and rehabilitation of existing projects through collaboration with relevant financial institutions.
The board will place emphasis on the developmental impact of the bank's financial support and services to the economy. Capacity building of the bank staff as well as the beneficiaries of the bank's facilities will be top on the board's priorities.
Focusing on the small and medium-scale enterprises. But at the same time, we don't want the larger ones to die because they have capacity to recruit 2,000 people, to have 2,000 employees, So we're going to work with both the large, the small, medium scale. We're going to work with partners.
Aliu Diko assured that the board will guarantee a sustainable future of bank of industry by benchmarking international best practices. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Critical and relevant stakeholders on digital switchover in Nigeria have met in Lagos to discuss ways of improving coverage of digital television transmission. The interactive forum was organized by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, in conjunction with Yamabel and Ratau. Ken Egbeluge has the details.
The Nigerian broadcast industry is currently undergoing a revolution. It is all about the ongoing transition from analog to digital technology. Experts say digitization is a technological innovation that will change the scope of radio and television broadcasting in the country. Generally, digital broadcasting has enormous benefits. These benefits include program content, media convergence, quality signals, and multiple channels. The stakeholders interactive meeting therefore provided opportunity for stakeholders to have a better understanding of the roles of key operators such as signal distributors, channels owners, and software integrators in the digital switchover.
It is important that people in the industry get conversant with some of those role players so that they can better appreciate the work that they are doing.
We are trying to do our best so that we put in place the necessary mechanisms that will provide an enabling environment for our members to enjoy and to benefit from the DSO switchover.
We already started digitizing our studios, and the core issue of content, we are taking it very seriously. We are acquiring new ones, we are producing new ones, and we are making them to be of international standard.
Content building in digital ecosystem, functional uses, and distribution of set-top boxes and software security and encryptions were extensively discussed at the forum.
We've been ready. Only the model for realizing this process in the different states varies, and we have to keep with what the regulator desires.
The interactive meeting with stakeholders is one of the series of programs by the National Broadcasting Commission to create awareness in the digital switchover. In Lagos, Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
Are you intending to go on Hajj this year? Then our next story will be of interest to you. But that will be after the break. So see you on the other side.
Slow, madam. I recover. Good, carry on. Sit up. Akbar. Now waiting be this. Hey, smart gun over here. Don't switch again. Everybody want make I put them on top. You remember AJ smart connect when I charge 100 naira, then go give me 800 naira. You know my bureau. Now every end of the month, then go give me back all my recharge. Why don't recharge? As that bonus. From this one, no, we just jara. That now over jara back to sender. Over jara back to sender. Mama BC.
Buy an Airtel SIM and get back all your recharges as data bonus by month end on Smart Connect.
Hey! Alele.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria constituted the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the planned concession of Port Harcourt Refinery to Hajj, ENI, and O&O PLC to carry out holistic investigation to determine how and why such a deal was sealed and the criteria used to select Hajj, ENI, and O&O PLC to maintain and operate the Port Harcourt Refinery at what cost and time frame. The committee cordially invites all stakeholders, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, NNPC, TPR, BPE, ICRC, NLC, TUC, Pengasin, Nupeng, Ajib ENI, Owando PLC, and the public to a one-day public hearing. Date 13th July 2017. Time 11 a.m. prompt. Venue Conference Room 231, second floor, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. For further information, please contact Senator Abubakar Yeri, Chairman, Announcer.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Hey, bro, what's up, man?
Wait. Sure, son, I want device to carry.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
It's really good to know you're out there watching News Extra tonight. Now we go on to the issue of hike in fares for this year's Hajj. The National Hajj Commission says increase in Hajj fares this year is subject to prevailing global economic challenges and the current exchange rate situation in the country. This was made known at a stakeholder sensitization forum organized in Lagos to shed more light on the 2017 Hajj operations by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. Musa Toliat was there and now reports.
Policy, Personnel Management and Finance, National Hajj Commissioner of Nigeria, Yusuf Ibrahim said one major contributory factor to the increment in Hajj fares is the additional cost placed on aviation operations, accommodation, feeding and transportation to various holy sites by the Saudi Arabian authorities. He, however, lauded the efforts by the federal government to make foreign exchange available to the Commission at the official rate of 305 naira.
By the time they look at the indexes of Hajj, which are all dollar components, that's why we are calling all the imam to educate people in their mosque.
Southwest coordinator of NACON, Imam Fuad Adeyemi, assured the ulamas and officials of state Hajj operations that measures have been put in place to ensure flawless luggage management and a hitch-free airlift arrangements.
In Saudi Arabia, their policies are changing, their system are changing, their mode of operations are changing. The issue of accommodation in Mecca and Medina has just been reconsolidated to make it better.
On our own part, we used to encourage them, sensitize them, and even pray for each other to make sure that God provides for them to complete the payment.
There was a question and answer session to clarify grey areas to the tour operators, clerics and state Hajj operation officials in attendance. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Did you know that in the next 50 years, most Nigerian languages may be wiped out if concrete steps are not taken to reverse the trend? This prediction by UNESCO has necessitated series of lectures by the National Institute for Cultural Orientation, NICO. Oyinaya Kalu Oka was in one of such lectures with the theme Promoting Culture for Developing the Economy in Abuja.
Many aspects of Nigerian culture are gradually fading out, the most common being language. It is now trending to hear some youth say they don't understand their language. This, experts say, must be revived.
I just told you, I just came into the car.
poetry. Nigeria has changed a lot.
The play by staff of NICO depicting the love of foreign culture by some Nigerians at the expense of their rich African cultural heritage. Linguistic experts say about 400 Nigerian indigenous languages are endangered. How long will some Nigerians continue to do away with their priceless culture? Was one question that topped discussion.
So the most important thing is for us to understand our language very well. Whatever else we are doing will excel. It's not the same thing as saying if you cannot understand our language, you are civilized.
Let all of us go back to the basis, and the basis is what? Embrace your culture. You shouldn't be shy about it. Promote it.
The 2008 National Policy on Culture, currently under review, recognizes that culture is a central vehicle for national development, economic emancipation and empowerment.
Executive Secretary, National Institute for Cultural Orientation, Barclays Ayakuruma, noted that unless Nigeria's cultural dimension is emphasized in her economic development agenda, as clearly demonstrated by the Asian Tigers, sustainable economic development will remain a mirage.
And to emphasize the urgent need to give priority attention to harnessing the vast potentials in the culture and tourism sector in our quest to diversify the nation's economy.
Participants called for urgent intervention in reviving some dying Nigerian culture. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Well, how have we been doing so far? Great for you, as it has been for me, I hope. Well, on the last lap, we have foreign news, some sports stories, and Thursday's weather forecast. We'll be right back.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
And for stories making the headlines on the foreign scene, here is Nancy Godi Anunihu.
You're welcome to this segment. Kenya is set to slash salaries and allowances of its president and lawmakers. This, the country says, will enable it to reduce its wage bill to sustainable levels and improve government service delivery. The decision comes after protests and strikes over low pay by doctors, nurses and teachers and other workers. Experts say the Kenyan example is worthy of emulation by other African countries.
This gesture of the president and the parliamentarians in Kenya is good. They are not smiling to bank while asking the masses to bear it. So I think it will rub off. Psychologically, it's very motivating. The people will respond positively. African economy is disarticulated, and we need to really, unbundle and move governance. If you want to reduce the cost of governance, you need to do much more.
Chinese troops are on their way in ships to Djibouti to set up Beijing's first overseas military base. China says the support base will be used for peacekeeping and humanitarian aid in Africa and West Asia. China has ramped up investments in Africa as well as rapidly modernized its military in recent years. Now, 4 Arab states leading a boycott of Qatar say the boycott will continue despite a deal between Washington and Doha to combat the financing of terrorism. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Egypt said the deal brokered by the U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was not enough. The bloc restated that Qatar cannot be trusted, citing previous agreements like the Riyadh Accord documents leaked last Monday. And that's it from here.
And on the sports scene, all Nigeria Athletics Championships starts Thursday in Abuja with Venus Williams taking on Jonathan Contractor, Wimbledon semi-finalist Thursday. Amazi Marcus has more.